The Silver Samaritan!
Hello again, my aspiring heroes. I'm the Silver Samaritan, and this is Superhero Survival Skills. Last time we went over a few archetypical relationships, ranging from the mildly annoying to the hostile and adversarial, where you will have little choice but to just kind of deal with them. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some friends and associates in the context of how we help each other. To paraphrase the fictional Antifa super soldier Steve Rogers, we're gonna look for the helpers. And I really want to start by saying that I genuinely love all these people. That just feels like a good place to start. Part 1. The Professional. If you're unfamiliar with our intersecting histories, Colossal Ross is an old-school street patroller who once pulled my unconscious body out of an alley and introduced me to a friend of his, apparently by carrying me up her fire escape and ducking out before I woke up. More on her later. Ross is not generally inclined to wait around for someone to thank him. He's more of a "who was that masked man" guy who disappears while people are still getting used to the idea that they're more or less safe now. Not big on the whole "are you okay, can I call somebody" thing. On a surface level, he's all business. But also, I would have died alone in an alley if Ross had not been deliberately looking for people who needed his help. I'm not saying that you have to be in costume and on patrol all the time, quite the opposite. There's like maybe one person in the world capable of that, and he's a horrible supervillain. I have no idea what Ross did with the rest of his evening. I assume he finished his patrol and went, home? Or somewhere, I guess. Probably drank some water, ate something, and went to sleep. I didn't even meet the guy until weeks later on some totally unrelated shit and had no idea he was the one who saved me until literally yesterday. He is an intensely private person and does the job 100% on his own terms. He has no ongoing professional partnerships. If anyone in the network wants to reach him, we have to use dead drops and then just kind of wait. He has his patrol, he has his material priorities during that patrol, and the rest of his day is a mystery to all. It's clear to me that Ross understands his limits as a masked hero. He knows how to let go when he reaches those limits, and I think that's what makes his use of time most effective, for himself and for people like me who have needed his help. I'm not as good at it as he is, but his example has taught me that it's okay to let go sometimes, to leave work at work, so to speak. It's strange to include him in a video on relationships, I know, but what he does has an effect on all of us. A relationship does not always mean you're close. It just means you have an impact, and that you are at least dimly aware of what that impact is on others. So here's to Colossal Ross, one of the strangest and most decidedly professional superheroes I know. Part 2. The Duo. Some heroes find that their own skills and strengths are not enough to outweigh their weaknesses, or lack of relevance. I think of fictional characters like Daniel Rand, Clint Barton, and even the Green Hornet, all dedicated, all heroes who, when left to work solo, are inadequate at best and dangerously incompetent at worst. A good partner in crime fighting can be the difference between life and death, but may also have strengths that pair with yours in a way that makes you both stronger. A duo like that is more than the obligatory sum of its parts, even if one person does most of the heavy lifting. Take, for example, my associates Whisper and Shadowfist. One shy, cautious, and able to hear radio and Wi-Fi signals and read minds. One swift, powerful, and given to the occasional rash decision. My understanding is that before they met, Whisper wasn't even an active superhero, preferring instead to stay indoors and self-medicate. I'm not judging, but she has said it didn't make her happy, so there's that. Shadowfist, on the other hand, was apparently very active as the supervillain Darkfall. Yeah, the branding shift could have been better. Anyway, it's all rumor, but Darkfall hasn't been active since just shortly before Whisper and Shadowfist emerged as a team, and some people have pointed out marked similarities in Shadowfist's and Darkfall's costumes and tactical styles. What are you gonna do? They're a good guy now. It happens. Nowadays, Whisper and Shadowfist are known to combine their talents for things like sneaking hostages out of captivity, showing up ahead of the police for mental health crises, and occasionally even catching and clapping cuffs on creepy career computer criminals. We all do our thing with the gifts we got, you know? Part 3. The Tank. No helper is perfect, and no superhero embodies this more obviously than Tankenstein. He is a man of obvious strengths, and even more obvious weaknesses. God, I hope he doesn't hear this. As I've mentioned in a previous video, Tanky has also stepped between myself and an untimely demise. Except that he did it more or less literally. He took the full force of a supernatural fireball intended for me. Like, I know he's pretty much invulnerable to conventional weapons, and maybe it was just old habits kicking in, but he really had no idea what was going to happen. Demonic magic is not a big part of Tanky's wheelhouse, if you know what I mean. Anything could have happened, and he just took action when it was needed. Now, you know I don't always agree with his actions, but even I can't argue that they don't reflect strength of conviction, and it always comes from a place of genuinely good values. Of course, where I emphasize harm reduction, Tankenstein prefers to redirect harm, typically towards whoever is trying to cause it. And, strictly speaking, he doesn't exactly adhere to the guiding principle of a clear and present danger either. Although I suppose that depends on your definition of the word danger. Or clear and present. I'm getting off track again. Look, we all know Tanky and I disagree on some things, but we can each always count on the other to have their back when we need it. Even if one of us always ends up doing the heavy lifting. Or weathering the impact of flaming projectiles. He's just better at that part. I don't say this to emphasize his strength and endurance, but to illustrate that we have common enemies and have learned to work together towards our larger shared goals of protecting people from the violence of those enemies. It's not always easy to do, and we frequently argue over the means to that end. The number of times he's told me, "Well, we tried it your way. It's my turn now," is frankly embarrassing and growing. If you want to have a positive impact on my life, and so doing an indirect impact on the lives of others, you can of course tap like and subscribe. Leave any questions or comments below, and if you're in a position to do so, follow the link in the description to find my Patreon, where you can help fund superhero education for everybody. Next time, we will pick up this thread and continue on with a few more of my personal relationships and how they help me. Maybe that will help you somehow. Thank you again for listening. This is the Silver Samaritan saying good luck and stay safe.